Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving deep into the darkest corners of the internet to bring you something truly unsettling. Have you ever felt like you weren't alone, even when the house was completely empty? Well, the footage we've gathered today captures those exact moments where the mundane turns into a living nightmare. From unexplained shadows in broad daylight to chilling sounds captured on home security systems, we are exploring 10 terrifying encounters that were actually caught on tape. Grab a blanket, turn down the lights, and let's get right into our first chilling piece of evidence. This one comes from a quiet suburban neighborhood where things aren't as peaceful as they seem. You might want to double-check your locks after watching this.
Our first stop takes us to the decaying halls of an abandoned psychiatric hospital in Ohio. Urban explorers often visit these sites for the thrill, but this group got much more than they bargained for. As they panned their camera down a long, debris-strewn corridor, a heavy steel door, one that had been rusted shut for decades, suddenly slammed with enough force to echo through the entire building. If you look closely at the frame-by-frame breakdown, a dark, humanoid shape seems to retreat into the shadows just as the door hits the frame. There's no wind, no visible wires, and certainly no one else should have been in that wing. The sheer panic in the explorers' voices tells you everything you need to know about how real this felt to them in that moment.
Next, we move to the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest. A lone hiker was recording a vlog about his trail experience when he noticed something odd in the trail line. At first, he thought it was just a bear or a large elk, but as he zoomed in, the figure stood up on two legs. It was remarkably tall, covered in dark hair, and moved with a fluidity that no human could replicate in such rough terrain. What makes this encounter particularly terrifying is that the creature didn't run away. Instead, it stayed perfectly still, watching the hiker from behind a massive cedar tree. The silence of the forest in that moment is deafening, and you can see the camera shaking as the hiker realizes he is being hunted. He didn't stay long enough to find out what it was. Moving from the woods to the comfort of home, this next clip was captured by a smart doorbell camera. A woman living alone began receiving notifications of "person detected" in the middle of the night. When she finally checked the live feed, she saw a man wearing a disturbingly realistic clown mask standing perfectly still on her porch. He wasn't trying to break in, and he wasn't looking for a package. He was simply staring directly into the camera lens, holding a small, hand-drawn sign that said, "I see you." He stood there for over 20 minutes before walking backwards into the darkness. The police were called, but no footprints were ever found in the fresh snow. It's the kind of silent, calculated threat that stays with you long after the video ends.
Deep-sea encounters offer a different kind of terror. This footage was taken by a remote-operated vehicle, or ROV, exploring an oil rig's foundations thousands of feet below the surface. Out of the pitch-black abyss, a massive, gelatinous creature drifted into the lights. It didn't look like any known species of jellyfish or squid. It had long, undulating appendages that seemed to glow with their own internal light. As the ROV moved closer, the creature suddenly expanded, revealing a cavernous mouth-like structure that seemed to pulsate. Marine biologists are still debating what this could be, with some suggesting it's a prehistoric survivor or even something not of this earth. The way it moves through the crushing pressure of the deep is both beautiful and utterly horrifying.
In an old Victorian home in England, a family began experiencing what they thought was a simple plumbing issue. They heard rhythmic banging coming from inside the walls every night at 3 a.m. Thinking it was a trapped animal or a loose pipe, the father decided to cut a small hole in the drywall of the basement and insert a flexible snake camera. What he found wasn't a pipe. The camera revealed a small, hidden crawl space filled with old children's shoes and a single rotting rocking chair that was moving back and forth on its own. There was no ventilation in that sealed space to cause movement. The family moved out the very next day, and the house remains empty to this day, still echoing with those mysterious midnight sounds.
Night shifts can be lonely, but for this security guard at a high-end car dealership, it became a nightmare. While monitoring the cameras, he saw a figure sitting in the driver's seat of a locked high-end sports car inside the showroom. The alarm hadn't gone off, and the keys were secured in a safe. As he approached the vehicle with his flashlight, the figure vanished right before his eyes. He checked the playback, and the footage shows the car's suspension actually dipping as if someone heavy was sitting in it, and then rising back up the moment the figure disappeared. There was no reflection on the glass, just a solid, dark presence that shouldn't have been there. The guard quit his job the following morning, refusing to ever step foot back in that building.
This next piece of footage comes from a group of teenagers camping in the Appalachian Mountains. They were sitting around the fire when they heard a voice calling out for help from the darkness beyond their campsite. It sounded exactly like one of their friends who was sitting right there with them. Confused and terrified, they turned their flashlights toward the sound. The beam caught a pair of eyes reflecting the light, but the eyes were nearly 8 feet off the ground. Whatever was mimicking their friend's voice wasn't human. The legend of the flesh pedestrian or skinwalker is common in these parts, but seeing a mimicry attempt caught on digital video is rare. You can hear the pure, unadulterated terror in their screams as they scramble for their car. Basements are naturally creepy, but this one takes it to a new level. A homeowner in London discovered a heavy rug in his basement that had been taped to the floor. When he pulled it back, he found a glass-covered well that descended into a flooded Victorian sewer system. He decided to lower a waterproof camera down to see how deep it went. About 30 feet down, the camera hit a ledge where a collection of Victorian-era dolls had been neatly arranged, all facing the camera. As he began to pull the camera back up, a pale, wet hand reached out from the water and swiped at the lens. The footage cuts to static shortly after. He has since poured concrete over the entire area, but he says he still hears scratching on the floorboards every single night.
Our final case today is perhaps the most famous yet unexplained clip in recent years. Known as the elevator ghost, this footage shows a woman entering an elevator in an office building late at night. She presses the button for the lobby, but the doors refuse to close. She looks out into the hallway, appearing to talk to someone who isn't there. Her movements become erratic, almost as if she's being pulled or guided by an invisible force. Suddenly, she jumps out of the elevator and disappears down the hall. Seconds later, the elevator doors close and function normally. The woman was never found, and the hallway she ran into was a dead end, with no windows or exits. It remains one of the most chilling disappearances ever documented on a security feed.
It's truly incredible how much the lens can capture when we aren't looking. These stories serve as a haunting reminder that the world is much larger and more mysterious than we often care to admit. Whether it's ghosts, cryptids, or just the unexplained, these clips stay with us because they challenge our sense of reality. Which of these encounters did you find the most terrifying? Was it the mimic in the woods or the figure in the elevator? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have your own footage, feel free to reach out. We are always looking for the next piece of evidence that proves we are not as alone as we think. Be safe out there and keep your cameras ready. You never know what might be watching.
Thank you so much for watching another episode of our deep dives into the unknown. If you enjoyed these bone-chilling clips, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to find even more terrifying content for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. We have plenty more mysteries to uncover, and you won't want to miss what we have planned next week. Stay curious, stay cautious, and most importantly, stay tuned. We'll see you in the next one, if you can handle it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.